It's the fact that people are flooding Cheyenne Bryant's post with pictures from their graduation because they actually have a doctorate degree. Word to the wise, black folks, if somebody calls themselves a life coach, that's a red flag. Calling yourself a life coach is always a red flag. Life coach stands for, I'm going to take advantage of some vulnerable ass people who will believe me because I've had the privilege to be believed all my life. She had the nerve to call it pretty punished. Pretty punishment. Like she's being punished because, oh, now people want to question my skills because I'm so gorgeous, I'm so beautiful, I'm so conventionally attractive. No, ma'am. That's what got you here. People didn't question you because of the way you looked. Let's call a spade a spade. And you picked a school that was shut down on purpose so you didn't have to explain yourself. Oh, well, they're shut down. So Parchment doesn't have your dissertation? Parchment doesn't have it either? I'm surprised she didn't go with the Phoenix University route, but she couldn't because Phoenix University is still open, I guess. That's probably why she didn't go that route. I'm not doubting that she did some college at California State University in Northridge. But, ma'am, let's just be for real. And black people don't question folks enough. Like, we got to start asking these questions and not just letting people slide and being like, oh, I'm going to let them have it. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let them have it. No, don't let them have it. This woman has built her entire career off of a lie. Off of a lie. There's real women and men out here who have earned, who put in the blood, sweat, and tears to have a doctorate under their belt. That is not an easy feat. That is not easy. So for you to fucking walk around and claim the name of a doctor makes me fucking sick, bro. She needs fucking help. People who have that, who are life coaches have like this complex about themselves. They need help. I knew I've seen Cheyenne Bryant somewhere before. As an old head, it does not surprise me that this woman was a video vixen. She appeared in Busta Rhymes videos. She appeared in B2K. She also appeared in some old episodes of Real Housewives and Basketball Wives. I think she was in a Jay-Z video. A video vixen is the woman who used to do like those like very mediocre dances and videos. Like they barely knew how to dance, or they were just like the one who was like really pretty, just looking around, being like the, you know, love interest in the video. And that also kind of makes me feel like Joe Budden kind of knew who she was, and that's why he kind of peeped her. Like he didn't know her like that, but it's probably like, oh, I think I've seen her on set somewhere before. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. But people are wanting a refund on her newly published book. And it's being alleged that the publisher of her book is refunding people who purchased the book. Given that she just wanted to add the doctor to her name to separate herself from any other life coach, but really all life coaches are the same. And life coaches are essentially scammers. That's what they are. They're like narcissistic scammers. It's almost like somebody who can tell your fortune. They use certain things that you've told them, you know what I'm saying, to try to gauge and guide, you know, where they're going to go with the conversation. So you can say, oh my God, you're so right. Yeah, her career is pretty much down the toilet at this point.
Cheyenne Bryant locked down the Dr. Bryant trademark, and it's perfectly legal and okay. My name is Corinne Cougar. I'm an attorney. I actually practice in the area of IP and trademark law, and I'm just here to give you some information about this. Now, like a lot of y'all, I was on the internet kikiing last week about what's going on with Cheyenne Bryant. And in my opinion, she's both smart and stupid at the same damn time. And when I say smart, I feel like she has worked her way into becoming essentially a media darling, a podcast queen. She worked her way into becoming an expert under the name of, or under the auspices of, being Dr. Bryant. So she registered for this trademark and received it in 2023. She submitted her specimen, i.e. her example or her proof that she was using the mark, and this was her website, drbryant.co. And she has gone on and created a persona for herself as Dr. Bryant. She went on Club Shay Shay. She claimed to have 3 doctorate degrees, which have now come under question. So this is why I say smart and stupid at the same time, because she pretty much opened her mouth too much. She started talking about licensure. And when she did that, people in the therapist community, which I am not in, I don't claim to be a therapist, I don't have a PhD, I do have a Juris Doctorate, however, but I do not claim to have gone through the program that she was in. But they called to question her practices. As a result, she has refused to prove that she has the credentials that she claimed to have. But she does have the persona of Dr. Bryant. And people have made jokes. They talked about Dr. Dre and they've talked about Dr. J. And here's the thing, she could have done so too. But she chose to hang on to, I have a doctorate, I have these degrees, but I'm not going to prove anything to anybody because all I need to do is prove myself to God. But she does have the Dr. Bryant registered trademark.
I need a little guidance, maybe a little therapy. So today,
and we gonna call it life coaching.
Okay,
so we don't confuse the people out there.
You're right. Life coaching.
A psychology expert. They
You're
have said
someone
that.
who has all of the answers. Why are you not with a man? Why are you not happily married?
I still have moments where the little girl in me is like, who the you talking to? Too many people are codependent on their lean. Codependent is I go to lean, and if you're not there, I'm freaking out. When I tell people that your adversities are working for you, how you decide to be in it mentally is your decision.
I don't know how old your mom was when she had you, but
16. Yes, she abandoned me. She was in her addiction. I forgave her before she asked. And we are now in a promised land. My abandonment caused me to have anxious attachment. I was engaged with a fiance, fresh off the field football player. As I healed my dysfunction, I started to want to know when you're going to get the off this couch. If a man is not showing up in his commitment, there's a respect level. Yeah. And if I can't have you in thought, then maybe he's not your Boaz. But you can have narcissistic characteristics and not be diagnosed as a narcissist. Gaslighting is, I came home late, so I'm going to make you think I haven't really crossed a boundary and you are tripping. Emotions don't cause problems. They create resolution. Feelings cause more problems. Either you want a daddy or you want a daddy. And a grown woman like me, I want a daddy. And but us women, we gotta baby. Cheating is a character defect. If you have a dog, ladies, it's a dog. If it barks, it barks.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I got some stuff here, some more stuff on Cheyenne Bryant. Let's go ahead and knock it out. Shout out to Blunt Grilling. Here we go.
Mirrorless and point-and-shoot cameras. Let's take a look. DSLR or digital single-lens reflex camera.
I did a video a while back stating that some people's self-concept is so fragile that they can't tell the truth even if or when their life depends on it. And Cheyenne Bryant seems to be illustrating this more and more by the day. For those who don't know, she is a supposed clinical psychologist who has gained a lot of traction by going on various shows and podcasts. Recently, her credentials have come into question, and instead of just providing proof, she's given an incredibly hard-to-believe reason as to why she doesn't have documentation and has stated that she doesn't need to prove anything. In her recent interview on The Breakfast Club, when asked about this, she got really defensive and her blink rate increased significantly, showing signs of stress. Shortly after, she was asked again on another show and went on a tangent about God instead of simply answering the question. Her huge pivot into sanctimony felt like a distraction and gave me a strong sense that it is extremely likely that we will see her entering ministry to reinvent herself. Her behavior is consistent with someone who has a personality disorder.
Well, if it isn't another video of mine aging gracefully. I did a video on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant probably last year. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's up, but I might have to go back and unprivate it so you can see how well that video aged. But basically, everything that's getting exposed about her, she's like mega viral. My sub, actually, they were like, "What, girlie, you were right. You did a video calling all this." Per usual, you know. But, like, my discernment, it's sharp. It's very sharp. So, basically, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she was this very weird, odd narcissistic, self-proclaimed therapist. You know, she would go on all these podcasts. She's always on a male podcast. She loved the red pill sector or whatever. More power to her. But yeah, she's always talking to those dudes. And I dissect one of her videos because I think I had enough when she sat down with that pastor. That video was an entire hot mess. Yeah, that video, she was telling Christian women to tempt their man to see, like, you know, just the whole play stupid games, win stupid prizes, take a bath with him, and see if he wants to sleep with you. And if he, like, single woman, by the way, chronically single woman, by the way, that's red flag number one. Okay, so basically it's been exposed that she's a fraud. She's not a therapist. She don't got degrees from what we know in this moment. She can't prove it.
Can't prove a damn thing.
6 separate degrees, 3 doctorates, 0 proof. There is a video on Club Shay Shay where Dr. Cheyenne Bryant explicitly states that she has 6 separate degrees.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree.
And out of those 6 separate degrees, 3 of those are doctorates.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, a house.
She is unable to find the transcripts proving that she completed said degree.
It's very simple. I went to a school, Argus University, completed an entire program. I went back online to get my official transcripts because I was applying to a law school many years ago to be a professor there. And I had to provide my transcripts, right, to get hired. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down. I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Well, I contact the third party. That third party only holds records for 2 years. I was past my 2 years. So that means that I had no access to records. And then I contacted, financial aid. You can't make up financial aid. It shows that I paid for a doctoral program alongside my master's program and my undergrad program. And they said, we can fully refund you your money under one circumstance. We give you your money back. You don't get credit for not a class, a course, a program you took in this university, at this institute. So, do you want us to refund you? Or do you want us not? I said no, because I didn't want to risk the chance of them saying, well, we're going to give you back your money, and it wipes out your entire program. Luckily, I had, did this with all of the schools. I had downloaded from the actual student portal my transcripts at that time, and I was able to get just about all of my transcripts, including up to like dissertation. But everything else, there's just no holding take for any of our records, which I think is completely effed up. Take for any of our records, which I think is completely.
This chick is so full of shit.
You're telling me this woman has the intellect to sit down and obtain 6 separate degrees, but does not have the intellect to follow through to show proof of her credentials that she's loudly stating on various platforms. 6 separate degrees, 3 doctorates, 0 proof.
She lying.
Make that shit make sense.
I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in His will and I'm serving and I'm doing His word, my sheep will know my voice. Even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
Questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Yeah, provide proof.
Things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that
show the proof then.
Something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles. It's in how effective I've been. All of my
that, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is total bullshit. That's a lie from the pits of hell.
My sessions have been live for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone. They have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate me, I validated myself, they deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this, I created my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people see that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you gotta be okay. You gotta be okay with that.
As an attack. Yeah. I think, and I've gotten this question from.
And I talked about this on Saturday with her narcissism and her ego. That's one thing that Cheyenne's gonna stand on. She's gonna stand on her narcissism, and she's gonna stand on her ego. Let's continue.
Many viewers, and I owe it to them. You tell it to
absolutely.
them. Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So.
And here's something else why she doesn't drop doctor from her name. Cause if anybody finds out, shout out to Simone Redwine, girl is that legal. She finds out that Cheyenne actually trademarked Dr. Bryant. But here's the thing. If the Federal Trade Commission is able to find that her trademark really, that there's no credibility, she calls herself a doctor. But if they can prove that there's no credibility to her being a doctor, that trademark gone. Because she lied to get that trademark. Let's continue.
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it. Yeah, because I earned it.
So in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to spot scammers. Because even my hubby told me, he was like, you called this. I was like, yeah, I've seen this from a mile away. I mean, a lot of people did, not just me.
Yeah,
I'm just going to tell you how I was able.
Here's why I knew Cheyenne Bryant was a scammer. When she did the interview with Cam Newton, the way she was dressed, the way she was behaving, I knew she wasn't no doctor, cause she had the typical boss chick attitude, which of course, if you understand the boss chick attitude, it's arrogant, egotistical, narcissistic, and a straight BICTH attitude, which is what Cheyenne is. There was no decorum. Her analysis was basic at best. I mean, look, it was basically a chick from around the way trying to play doctor. That's basically what it was. Let's continue.
I'm just going to tell you how I was able to spot that she is a narcissistic fraud. Okay?
Oh, talk about she is a bot.
Cheyenne Bryant, she's a very elaborate person. Her life is elaborate. Red flag number one. Okay? Red flag number one.
A straight up
how
bot.
You know someone is lying is when their situation just sounds too damn good to be true. It's like
Bingo.
Liars, for some reason, they never can lie casually. Pathological liars, because I was friends with a couple of them, they always have to tell the most grandiose lie. I noticed that, and I think it's because lying chronically and narcissism, I noticed that those two kind of connect. Like narcissists, they're obsessed with their image and how others perceive them. So they're more prone to lie, manipulate, come up with elaborate stories that'll make their status look good. That's a very narcissistic trait. Pathological liars typically tend to have narcissistic traits. That's why I notice most liars, how you know someone is lying is everything just sounds crazy. I had a friend who was a pathological liar. And with her, it was like everyday millionaires was trying to talk to her. Girl, there is not that many millionaires to go around, girl. There's only 1%.
Really?
Something is not adding up.
It ain't.
Whenever she would tell a story, nothing bad would ever go on in her life. She would speak about life like it's fairy tales and La La Land. And eventually, I'm not going to lie, like, I am a detective, right? And I'm very sneaky with it, too. So I'll smile in your face, and you'll never know that I'm on to you the whole entire time. And I wrote down a list of things that I caught her lying about, because another thing about liars is their story, they can never keep their story straight. So that's a second sign that you have a liar on your hands. Their stories are always inconsistent. Liars are some of the most stupid people ever because they're not aware that they're not good at it. Most people who are liars are not good at lying. Your story, you lie so much about everything, you can't keep up. So, honey, I have personal experience with people like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and people like this are crazy. So, basically, the narcissism that I'm talking about with her lies is this girl said by the time she was 19 years old, so she's some hood chick or whatever, according to her, she got it out the mud. By 19, she talking about she owned houses. She said she has 6 degrees, doctorate degrees, all types of degrees and certificates. And it's like, be for real, like, that don't even sound right.
Ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, a house at 19, my first home, a daycare at 19, 3 retail stores on Melrose Avenue. You were the professional.
Liars are always extreme. Like this one girl that I knew, nobody believed that she got into Harvard. This girl stayed lying. Everybody knew she was a liar. She said she got into Harvard. Why is it always like just so extreme with these people? Like, you can't lie and say you got into an ordinary school. Like, okay, anyways, back to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, right?
Ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, a house at 19, my first home, a daycare at 19, 3 retail stores on Melrose Avenue. Damn, you were the professional.
There are trucks, and then there's the 2026 GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on 2026 Sierra 1500 models.
You can get anything you want on the internet. So why are we still taking gen eds like this? At Sophia Learning, we have a solution. Sophia offers online college
3 retail stores on Melrose Avenue.
Damn, you were the professional.
So that alone sounds crazy. That sounds suspicious.
Crazy as
because if you
hell.
think about it, nobody
Bat
knows
shit
someone that
crazy.
has 6
That is
degrees
bat shit crazy.
around the age of 19. That doesn't even make sense. Like, what? Like, first of all, 1 degree is hard as hell and should be
Very.
celebrated. It's extremely hard to get 1 degree. 6, girl, not even Albert Einstein himself can do that. Not even the geniuses with the freaking super high IQs can do that. That sounds impossible. That doesn't even sound human. You see what I mean with the grandiose delusions with these people? So, that's a sign that you have a, Tinder swindler situation on your hands, or the Danish deception. You remember when the Danish deception was telling that girl, Onika or whatever, that his family was a prince? See? Keep the game.
Yeah, I remember that
Liars
stupid shit.
always have to be so damn extreme. Like, it sounds like what they're saying is like some fairy tale stuff. Even with the Tinder swindler, he was doing the same thing when he scammed those girls. So scammers, they're gonna come to you. You ever get those text messages and it's like, pack your bags. You just won a vacation to Hawaii. inclusive and all free. Like, it just sounds too good to be true. If something sounds too good to be true, it's probably because it is. So that's rule number one. I'm trying to game y'all up, okay? So y'all can detect it quickly like me. Okay? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was a little bit too elaborate with her life stories for me. She would talk about herself like she's Superwoman. She accomplished it all. She accomplished more than Michelle Obama. She accomplished more than Kamala Harris. Like, come on. And it's like, when you look at her, no shade, but be for real. Like, typically you can look at a person, you can pretty much judge the book by its cover. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant looks like another aged out IG model.
She is.
You know what I mean? Like, she does not look like what she's saying. And I hate to say that because I don't want to stereotype, but typically, like, you know.
And here's the thing with Cheyenne. She looks like a bop. She dresses like a bop. She talks like a bop. Most likely, she's a bop.
If you're looking at some cookie at the corner store, that's probably what he is. So, she doesn't even carry herself with the descriptions that she was giving, this super, super intellectual woman that she speaks of, right? Like, it doesn't match. Typically, when someone is super high accomplished, you can tell in how they carry themselves, how they talk, how they look. They carry themselves a different way. She carries herself like a model girl in the club. So that already was scam number 2. Okay, that's why the public got scammed. Also, from personal experience and by doing research about these types of people, how you know you have a scammer / pathological liar on your hands is, remember when I said I had the friend where I was playing the good cop and I was on to her, and I just was writing down her lies, and I did this for a year straight. Well, eventually I ended up confronting her, and boy, that did not turn out well. When you confront these people or ask these people questions, it even says this in the symptoms of pathological liars. They always show signs of stress, like Dr. Cheyenne, when she's questioned, even a body language expert on TikTok said that they notice that she's typically usually very relaxed, but whenever she's questioned about her degrees, she's blinking really fast, which is a sign of stress. She gets agitated, catches an attitude. You know what I mean? And it's just a simple question. Also, keep in mind, she's a black woman, right? Black women are never shy about their degrees. They never are irritated to show proof of their degrees. I followed a lot on social media. They never stop posting the damn certificate. Please, ain't nobody going to college getting 6 degrees, 3 of them are doctorates, and she's talking about the school shut down. Oh my God. Just a classic, terrible scammer. She said that's why she can't retrieve the proof. Girl, what? What? Like, if that happened to anyone, they would end up in jail. What do you mean I worked for doctorate degrees and the school shut down and I can't get proof? Like, what? Like, shut the hell up, bro. Scammers crack me the hell up. Like, if you're smart, they're not good at scamming. But anyways, I wanted to say, back to what I was saying. So yeah, it's a common thing with pathological liars. When they're questioned on their lies, they get angry. Like I said, my friend, oh my God, when I finally came to her with all the list of things that were inconsistent in her life, right? Oh boy, that turned into an ugly argument. Man, and she started it. I came at her very nicely, very calm. She got all tense, like what liars do. The same thing happened with the Tinder swindler. Remember in the Tinder swindler stories, if he was some white man that scammed some white girls on a dating app, he pretended to be rich. Turns out he wasn't, right? Whenever he would ask them for money, and they would ask questions like, wait, what's going on? I thought you were rich, blah, blah, blah. He would always get irritated. They get mad. Okay? Even schizophrenic people, when you question them about their grandiose delusions, or their word salad, they get irritated. They get irritable. They get mad. Have you ever, answered a scam call and you decided to, crank them back by stressing them out. You know, me and my hubby, we do that all the time. You ever notice, like, whenever, you know, they're asking for your credit card information and you start asking more questions and you're not a dummy that just gives it over, they get impatient, irritable,
I'll be back in a second, y'all. Hold on. Okay, I'm back.
gives it over. They get impatient, irritable, irritated once you start asking questions and checking them on their lies. That's a textbook sign of a liar. You know, when I'm on live streams, sometimes people will ask me questions, and just because I'm a private person, I'm not okay with answering it. I never get irritated. Like, I'm just like, oh, I don't really, you know, there's no signs of stress when I'm being asked, you know, sometimes people will ask me questions about my marriage and stuff like that. I don't show signs of stress.
Now this is a real kitchen. Full speed, running on Genius, order feeding instantly. Drive-through and delivery, all moving together. That's how restaurants stay safe. Legally reliable.
I don't show signs of stress. They're like, what are you getting mad for? So it's this common thing when you're dealing with pathological liars. They all get mad, catch an attitude, get stressed. For what? If that's your truth, what are you stressed for? You know, people ask me questions all the time that I don't really want to answer, and it's not a reason to get mad, you know, because they know that you're on to them. So, yeah, keep the game on that. But anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. We're going to break this all down in this video, which I think she's crazy. Personally, to scam like this with your face showing is insane because, honey, in the era of 2026, by the time you show your face, you can't get on this internet and lie. People are going to dig up your past. You can't do that. You could have done that maybe like in 2008, you know, when they had the shows like Catfish. It was easy to lie on the internet, but nowadays, people will dig up everything. Did you know that they found out that she was a video vixen back in the day? I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, they've been doing research. So they found out that she was some video vixen, which makes sense. Like, looking at her, yeah, she literally looks like a former video vixen. I'm sorry, but looking at her, she does not look like a woman who has 18,000 degrees. She just doesn't. Who study the psychology of narcissists and psychopaths and stuff like that? That's why they call it antisocial personality disorder. They're against social norms. They truly think that they're above the program. That's why a lot of them end up going to jail, which what Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is doing, calling herself a doctor with no proof because she's lying, that's illegal. But people who have low empathy, they can barely feel guilt, remorse, regret, and then you pair it with their, you know, very grandiose sense of self and delusions. A big part of a narcissist or psychopath's personality is they fantasize a lot about power, wealth. That's like their main interest, social climbing. A normal, healthy brain will have the guilt of lying about something so damn extreme. Like, you can't do that. And then you're giving people advice, you're doing consultations under the name of being a doctor. That is hella illegal because the doctor title is under the system and, you know, they're held responsible by the government, right? But when you're a narcissist, again, I'm going to keep saying this, you think that you're bigger than the program. And a lot of them, they don't fear going to jail by doing these things. They'll do whatever they can to reach, you know, because she reached high levels of power and success. She's on the Breakfast Club. She's on, you know, shows and stuff like that, talk shows. narcissists are social climbers and they don't care about the law. Psychopaths
They
care
don't.
about the law. They'll do it by any means. That's why I think this woman is crazy. I don't just
She
call
gotta be
people,
crazy.
you know, psychopaths and narcissists for no reason unless they're seriously showing signs. And know for a fact if she sat down with us.
The fact that she sat down with a journalist who, if I remember correctly, is an investigative journalist and told the journalist that I am Dr. Cheyenne Bryant when there's no proof, to me, it's batshit crazy. But whatever.
Psychologists, they would diagnose her if she had a really good one that pays close attention. Like, she really thought that she was bigger than 2026's internet program where everyone gets doxxed. Everyone gets exposed at some point. You really thought it wasn't going to happen to you? That's crazy. So, you know, the internet did a lot of research. Nothing popped up. No one can find her degrees that she speaks of anywhere. Nowhere. Like, now people are really, really, really onto her. And I even seen a YouTuber talk about how Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, that's just what I call her. I know she's not even a doctor, but whatever. She just released a book recently, and she lied and said that it was bestseller. People was doing research. Like, on Amazon, she wasn't bestseller at that moment. I believe for New York Times, she wasn't bestseller. Bestseller for what? Like, why are you lying? Like, I think that that's insane to lie like this in 2026.
Very
People can
insane.
just easily,
Tap
you know,
screen, tap
reverse
screen,
image
tap
search,
screen,
and
please.
people are smart
Please
enough to
tap
check.
screen, tap screen, tap screen.
So, again,
Tap screen, please.
typically with liars, I was going to tell the ladies, like, a dating tip. If you catch a man early on lying, and I don't care what it's about, leave. Because it's way more to come of that. Because liars, they don't stop at one lie. Typically, they're lying about everything. And Dr. Cheyenne or whatever, she's been caught lying, but now we're finding out her whole entire life is a lie, which makes sense because I know once I catch a person in one lie, there's probably 1,000 other lies that they're telling. So, yeah. Next, this is something that's also very common with people who are scammers, the crypto people, and all those weird, sketchy people. They tend to do this too, so listen up. I said this in my video last year, and I was the first person to say this. Typically, people don't deep dive in their videos; they just copy and paste. Like, I watched so many videos on Dr. Cheyenne, and everybody was just all saying the same thing, right? But
Very
I tend
much.
to go deeper and give more like a unique perspective. I don't like boring channels, but anyways, I said this in my previous video that I did about her. I said this lady does word salad. Let's talk about
Just like
narcissistic
Kamala
word salad.
Harris.
What is it? Narcissistic word salad is a nonsensical and circular language manipulation tactic that narcissists use. They use it to deflect from real facts and accountability, and it's meant to confuse you, frustrate you, blame you, shame you, and discredit you. It's a way for the narcissist to avoid resolving conflict that's a result of their behaviors. In a healthy relationship, and you're usually coming to some sort of compromise. Because narcissists lack empathy and they really don't care about your thoughts or feelings, and because their whole existence basically focuses on this false self-belief system that they've created, they have no desire for the conversation to end up in any other way than one that is beneficial to them. So for the conversation to end up in their favor, they are going to talk in circles and deny you the right to have an opinion or feel an emotion. So what does it look like and sound like? There's an absolute lack of logic on their end. They talk in circles, but they'll sometimes throw in familiar words or ideas so that it seems like they're partially making sense. And that way you start to feel like you're just incapable of understanding their point. They overtalk you, repeating the same things adamantly anytime you try to make a valid point. They'll cut you off and bring up insignificant things that you've done in the past and use them out of context to divert your attention and get you defensive. They'll often use a patronizing tone to reinforce their
this idea that you're the one that's lacking logic and you're the one that just doesn't get it. They'll even sometimes rotate between different characters or roles that they're playing to further confuse you. One minute they're aggressive, the next minute they're victimizing themselves, the next minute they're speaking passionately like they really care, and then aggressive again, and then victimizing themselves again, and then passionate. So it's like even their personality is circular in the way that they're coming at you, so it becomes even more confusing. They want you to leave the conversation feeling confused, depleted, exhausted, to the point where you just accept the outcome of the conversation as is, which consists of absolutely no resolution. Okay? I literally said, I can't stand to listen to her talk. When she's talking, it's very hard to follow. And my teacher actually put me on game in high school about this. He said, well, how you know someone is dumb and cosplaying being smart is they're trying too hard to sound smart. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, the way she talks, it's like you're just putting a bunch of words together that sounds fancy. But for actual intellects like myself, you're not fooling me because I'm actually following along. And the reason why she's only ever talking to people who are hood, probably have a lower education than her is because that's the people that she can get away with doing word salad with. Because they're putting her on this pedestal. She said she was a doctor of many degrees and all this stuff.
reason Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was able to get away with being a fake doctor for so long was because she was going on a world tour, going on podcasts, where no one was actually asking her any questions about her doctorate. When they would ask her about her doctorate, she would hit them saying things like, I have 3 doctorates. Ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, making such bold claims that I think most people, for one, didn't really care because these were like entertainment, like Club Shay Shay and Breakfast Club podcasts. But you can act like you know a lot of really smart stuff when you're talking to people who have absolutely no clue what you're talking about. She did until she went on one podcast where they're like, hey, you're a doctorate, right? She's like, yeah, I have multiple doctorates. And they're like, we can't find a single one of your dissertations.
I even said in my older video, let's keep it a buck. When she talks, most of the time, most people are checking out. They're confused. It's hard to follow. You think that you can't follow what she's saying because you're stupid. That's the manipulation with word salad. And I even said in my older video that I noticed that when she's talking to men on their podcast, the men are not following. They're checking out. They're hardly listening because what she's saying does not make sense.
It's bullshit.
Dr. Cheyenne, she mimics what she thinks smart people come off as. Okay, because sometimes when you're smart, yeah, you may use bigger words that most people can't understand. So I noticed that she does that. Psychopaths are always mimicking certain people to get a certain result. She wants people to think that she's of higher status, higher knowledge, and that's called a pseudo-intellectual. We see this all the time on YouTube, these girls that be 21 doing video essays trying to sound smarter than what they are. But in reality, actual smart people, and I think even Einstein quoted this, smart people, they don't confuse you. They know how to break hard concepts down into an easy way to where even a toddler can understand. Smart people are the ones that can explain hard concepts to where everyone can understand it. Those are actual intellects. Okay? For example, that is literally the job of teachers and professors. They know complex topics that, their students have no idea about, and they're able to break it down in a simple way to where the students can understand. Those are intellects, not the one that gets the microphone and starts using fancy jargon like Dr. Cheyenne and confuses you. Pseudo-intellectuals are always mimicking what they think an intellectual will be. And so when she talks, they're probably checking out because she sounds smart. But to actual smart people, no, we're actually listening to what you're saying. And when I would listen to Dr. Cheyenne, she does word salad. So typically with scammers, that's how they talk. Like, what is the girl's name? Ashley Janae, the one that passed away. Her fiance was a scammer, Joe, right?
Running your own business and being a creative is a lot of work. And starting something new can be intimidating. Did you know B&H has free services to help?
The one that passed away, her fiance was a scammer, Joe, right? And people pointed out, like, I don't know what he does, some sketchy crypto stuff, but like when he talks about it, it's like he's just throwing a bunch of fancy words together that sound good, but he's actually not saying anything.
So, you know, as you get back to the point of like Aave or pick a lending protocol or pick a DeFi protocol, I'm not picking on Aave specifically. The point is, it's not what the protocol is and how do we get new users, and they should just know that this.
And I've been called out the word salad with her. That's always going to be a red flag of some type of personality disorder of some sort. I think that she's a narcissist, and narcissists typically tend to do that because narcissists are very charismatic, and they know how to kind of just, you know, wiggle, you know, around difficult questions and, you know, maneuver and make themselves seem higher than what they are. So she definitely would always use word salad to do that. So, you know, putting a bunch of word fluffs to sound fancy, yeah. I noticed that, like, when I listen, you know, they drilled comprehension. Like, I went to a very good school. My mom also, you know, she was educated herself, so comprehension skills was huge when I was a kid. And so when you talk, I'm actively listening. And it's very hard to follow with what she's saying.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years. And I'm going to say this. I've never seen a womanizer not be a womanizer. And
what the hell does that mean? Seriously. What the hell does that mean? Like, seriously. What's that supposed to mean?
Big boy, and to you, sis, if you don't fix what's in you, you can let go of that woman who's homeless. You will continue to attract the same spirit in a different vessel. So what's the bigger question is, why would you allow yourself to be dishonored by a woman of that caliber? Okay? To your point, same
thing. What? Can somebody tell me what the hell is this bullshit? What is this? Seriously. I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but seriously. What is this? Seriously. Let's get back into it.
Dishonored by a woman of that caliber, okay? To your point, same thing. If a man dishonored you and disrespected you, where did you learn that that was okay to begin with? Second question is, what in you says,
what the hell is this bullshit?
I think I'm Jesus. I could turn water to wine. You can't do that. Let me tell y'all something. Women don't change.
You know what? Shout out to Blunt Girly, but I've had enough of this. Let's see what Ugly Money got for us.
I've been needing more art in my bedroom and recently painted this canvas. However, I wasn't quite sure the best way to hang it. So
to the number one all-natural mental enhancement product in the country, in the world, and in the stratosphere. It on average lasts 2 to 3 times longer while using Goliath. Do yourself a favor. You want to go from teddy bear to grizzly bear. You want to go from gummy bear to big black bear. Go to GoliathXL.com to get yours today. All natural male supplement. If you want to put your fruits in the bears, you got nothing but fruits and berries in it. Y'all know what I need y'all to do before we get this show started? Drop them cities and locations and hit that like button. Hit that like button right now. Let me know where you at. charge and hit the like button to drop a comment. Remember, all super chats will be read and discussed in full. If you got something to say, you want to say it with your chat, say it with a super chat. Also, all super chats over $10 or better will be the next topic of discussion on the show. And of course, they also keep the lights on. Y'all drop them cities in the chat. Let me know where you at. London is in the building.
Okay, let me speed this up.
I think she can work on it. He would. Oh man, you brought your homie with you, man. What's your name, brother? Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Desmond Brian. I hate the way you added all that on her like that, but yeah, it is what it is.
That ain't your cousin, is it?
Hell no.
You should have called her, cut your cousin out. Now, I'm going to ask you an F-up question. If you find out that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is your cousin, because your last name, Bryant, and you see her at the family reunion later on today, when you walk up to your cousin, what are you going to say to her? Million, why not you? We're going to teach you how to get some money today. And you know when you get money, there's a lot of honey on the other end. You always lose money chasing women, but you never lose women chasing money. So Lamar going to teach y'all how to get some money. Congratulations, Negroes. I should have charged y'all more money. Lamar, who was Lamar Phillips before Lamar Phillips became the author of Lamar Phillips?
Lamar Phillips was a young man that worked hard, searching for direction, looking for a destination, and that represents hard work and preparation. Once those two collide, you get Lamar Phillips.
Amen, brother. Amen.
So before I knew what I was doing, it was there all the while. I just discovered what was in me, and now I'm here.
Amen, brother. Amen. Now, are you from Carolina? I see. North Carolina. North Carolina. Shouts out Carolina. Now, are you? Now I hear that, you know, see, I work close to Alabama here, and so in Alabama, it's a real big thing. And getting to the point where you sit on the damn couch.
Well, my first step was actually believing in myself. Amen. Because a lot of times people believe in you before you believe in yourself. But gaining that confidence is what made me who I am. And then before you focus on the wallet, you got to focus on your mindset. So it starts in your mind before it starts in your wallet. And the steps that I took, I felt that my value shouldn't be discovered or you can't put a price on my time, you know? Sure. So I took that. If somebody could pay me $10 an hour, they could pay me $100 an hour.
Amen, bro.
So it was my job to figure out, how can I make myself valuable? What can I start? What lane can I get in? And I chose to be an entrepreneur with the trucking, transportation, and then transition into real estate.
You know, I saw something online like just the other day, and it said 73% of millionaires are entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? And it was so ironic to me that a lot of times, and there's nothing wrong with a job, especially a stable job. But, you know, if you're working a job, there's also usually a cap or a limit of the amount of money that you're about to make, you know. But in the same sense, an entrepreneur, you can make $0 this year, $1 million this year, or negative $1 million this year. Tell me about the process of betting on yourself to get into entrepreneurship.
Well, betting on yourself, you will fail.
Okay, let me skip through this a little bit.
Because we're all on the clock, you know what I mean? There's only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so what I've gotten to the point where, like, okay, how can I buy back my time? How can I make sure that I'm not in front of a computer or office all day long? How can I get my day back as well as make the money? And then you end up using rich people use their money to buy them time. And I was like, wow, I never realized that time was like the most valuable asset ever. We lose $1,000 a day.
say, goddamn, hit the parlay and be up 5,000 by tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Man, you could always go 30, but man, you're gonna be shining like new money when you get up there. You know what I mean? Now, did any personal experiences of your own help you shape this book?
Yes, sir. What I found out, bro, like, you don't have to be the smartest in your room.
Hey, oh shit, go ahead, bro.
I ain't get no burn, though. I ain't get it.
Damn, man. Shouts out Coach Harris, man.
Well, he did let me make the team, though.
Oh, man. You ever
Shout out Coach Harris, man. He ain't had a losing season, bro. Not in football.
Oh, he was cold in football.
Cold.
Ain't no shit in basketball. Shouts out Coach Harris, man. That ugly money. That shit, I'm telling you, that shit gonna go crazy in your hometown. I'm telling you, that ugly money. That shit is going viral. That shit is on TikTok right now. That ugly money. If he's still in that high school, my bad, Coach. We were just fucking around. That ugly money. Kids gonna call like, I ain't talking shit about your ass on that podcast, Coach. That ugly money. This nigga here to promote a book, he talking shit about Coach. That ugly money. Oh, shit, boy. Nah, man. That shit hurt, though, bro. Let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about how it feels to be rejected, bro. How does a young man feel?
Okay, I thought he was going to say something about Cheyenne Bryant, but I see this here is an interview, and most likely he probably got Cheyenne Bryant at the end. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right here. I thank y'all for being here. Pray and hope see y'all again soon.
You said something. I'm gonna be very blunt.
Please do.
My biggest misconception about you, and I think, I mean, at the end of the day, it was me hearing from other people about you being a therapist and practicing.
So I'm a psychology expert, life coach.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Practicing without a license, and people saying how unethical it is and things like that. I think when you cleared it up for me, that I was misunderstood as far as why you practice the way you do, and that it's still responsible, right? Can you speak to any other misconception that you think about yourself, or why do people really have this disdain for you in this space as far as speaking? This way?
So I think that people who have a disdain for me are people who are not ready to heal, and they have accountability issue, and most of them have parental issues. See, we always talk about mommy issues when it relates to men, but why don't we talk about mommy issues when it relates to women?
And what that
Because
looks
women
like.
have mommy issues as well.
A lot, yeah.
Okay, and what it looks like is a woman's mother abandons her, or maybe they were in competition their entire life growing up. Maybe the mom was competing with her or jealous of her, or the daughter was competing with the mama. You got a lot of things that go on between mother and daughter relationships, and that develops a certain disdain for that young lady towards her mother. Well, that same woman now doesn't know that subconsciously, I got an issue with women. I got an issue with women. Any woman that comes in and identifies as anything similar to my mother, I'm triggered, and she doesn't know that. So I have no problem with dating a married man. I have no problem with fucking the shit out of you knowing you got a wife at home. Because every time I do that, guess who I get to feel like I am hurting or I'm poking at? Come on now, it's who?
Yeah.
My mother. So sometimes being the side chick that role was actually satisfying her dysfunctional pain pocket and her trauma that y'all know nothing about. Sometimes it ain't even about you. She don't even want you. She got issues and trauma that she could bond with you on. And we don't talk about that enough. We make it seem like, oh, she's just desperate because she has daddy issues. She want to be the side chick. Nah, her father could have been a hell of a father. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it, yeah,
right.
Because I earned it. Appreciate that.
I'm a journalist with 2 degrees at the end of the
How
day.
many?
And so I had 2.
How many? Come on, girl.
Yes, Northwestern and Emory
Come on, girl.
University. So I had to
There you
make
go.
sure I display that as well as a journalist. So thank you for
appreciate it.
coming
Of
and for
course.
hanging around. We're going to have
Yeah.
some fun in
Of
just a little bit.
To be licensed or unlicensed? That's the real question, because the girls are running a tizzy. Dr. Shonda, I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I own a private practice. I am a global speaker and a podcaster. I literally spent 11 years of my life pursuing 4 degrees in psychology, postdoctoral fellowship at Johns Hopkins, acquired 3,000 supervised hours of training in order to go toward licensure. That was a lot, but it's out the way. As a licensed psychologist, I do want to add some nuance to the conversation. Believe it or not, there are some legitimate reasons why people choose not to do so. Before we get into the legitimate reasons, I just want to focus on the illegitimate reasons that we've heard so far. We heard that people only get licensed to bill insurance. That is not true. As a licensed girly who started a private practice about 3 or 4 years ago, my first 2 years in private practice, I was not accepting any type of insurance. I only accepted private pay. Working with insurance companies can be extremely complicated. You're waiting 2 to 3 weeks for services you did a while ago. This is a systemic issue with insurance companies. A lot of them have low reimbursement rates. In order to make it accessible, I would then do like a pay what you can type of program that I have my students facilitate. Something to make it more affordable, but to bypass the insurance company. There was also a statement about being less restricted when you're unlicensed. Am I restricted because I have a license? Yes, and you should be, because that's how you protect your clientele. Like, I can't pod about what my clients talked about for today. Before I get into the legitimate reasons, let's be clear. Referring to yourself as a therapist, a psychologist, without a license is unethical, especially if you're treating or assessing diagnoses. For instance, let's say somebody is a PTSD coach or an ADHD coach. Working with specific diagnoses, you need to have a license or be functioning under someone with a license. That is how we regulate the field and continue to protect our clientele. However, I have people in my life who have chosen not to go through the licensure process. Not because they're trying to pursue a certain lifestyle or bypass the system, but the whole licensure process is inherently oppressive and systemically racist. And y'all don't have to take my word for it, because one of my professors conducted a study in around 2018. He found that after reviewing over 4,000 test takers of the EPPP, or the examination for practicing psychologists, this exam specifically had different pass-fail rates in comparison to our white counterparts. Specific number was significant enough to identify the test as biased or inherently discriminative toward Black and brown people. Therefore, like I said, I have mentors who said, I'm not going to pursue that process because it is inherently racist, but they're not out here providing diagnoses and treating individuals specifically. They're more so on the research and academia side. And now that I think about it, a lot of my psychology professors in undergrad, they pursued their psychology degrees, PhDs, all of that stuff, but they did not pursue licensure because they were more so in the academia side. To be unlicensed doesn't necessarily mean you're incompetent. And it doesn't mean that you don't have a doctorate, which is another conversation y'all were starting to have. That you didn't pursue the licensure hours or sit for the exam and pass the exam in order to clinically work with patients. I know that was a lot, but I'm Dr. Shonda. Let me know if y'all have questions below.
So Miss Bryant is going on a world tour, apparently, to keep confusing people. And what I find most interesting is that now she has gone directly to victim. I am the victim. There is this whole group of women who've just been waiting in the bushes, and they were on my side when I was telling men about themselves. But now, they're coming for me. Oh, but God, and I trust in God. What's interesting is that these women, this exact type of woman, you were out here telling men off, telling men about how they have a lack of accountability, telling men about how they're weak, how they have all these issues they need to deal with. All you had to do was, provide proof that anything you're saying is true. But instead of doing the very simple thing, you decide, well, let me see if I can become the victim and they'll leave me alone. Babe, it's not going to happen. You've already given too much information. There are too many people out here who are highly qualified, and you are impersonating one of them with no credentials. Did you think this was going to go away? Because it's not. If anything, going on these podcasts, or you call them sessions, is making it worse. You probably need to stop that. And then when being asked direct questions, the mind ninja gaslighting going on in here is crazy, coming from someone who pretends to be a therapist, life coach, doctor. I can't keep up. Whatever name we're going by. These sessions, quote unquote, should never have been about you telling men off. If they were true sessions, it would have been about the health and the well-being, the mental health, emotional health of those you were speaking with. This was an opportunity for you to entertain. And that's what you did. And it worked for the moment until credentials came up. And then, oh my God, now I'm a victim. This is what men deal with on a regular basis. Women just like this, who want to be Billy Bad, who never want to be told that they're wrong, who can't be accountable for anything, even when it's just the things that they say. This is what men deal with. And it's unfortunate. But fortunately, a lot of women are waking up.
I did a video a while back stating that some people's self-concept is so fragile that they can't tell the truth even if or when their life depends on it. And Cheyenne Bryant seems to be illustrating this more and more by the day. For those who don't know, she is a supposed clinical psychologist who has gained a lot of traction by going on various shows and podcasts. Recently, her credentials have come into question, and instead of just providing proof, she's given an incredibly hard to believe reason as to why she doesn't have documentation, and has stated that she doesn't need to prove anything, and has doubled down on this stance. In her recent interview on The Breakfast Club, when asked about this, she got really defensive and her blink rate increased significantly, showing signs of stress in comparison to here, where she is talking about something that she truly believes in. Shortly after, she was asked again on another show and went on a tangent about God instead of simply answering the question. Her huge pivot into sanctimony felt like a distraction and gave me a strong sense that it is extremely likely that we will see her entering ministry to reinvent herself. Her behavior is consistent with someone who has a personality disorder. And while looking through her photos, this one felt the most consistent with her true nature. She's got the three-quarter pose with her hands in front of her, which both indicate that she doesn't want to be truly seen and is guarded And her watchful eyes let me know that she is highly perceptive. It feels like she's looking directly at you in the photo. Something that I can see but can't show you is that she watches people very closely to see if they are buying what she is selling. She uses it as feedback to know whether to stay on course or to pivot the conversation. And her demonstrative style of communication, along with her provocative style of dress, are meant to be a distraction.
Look, I wasn't even going to say nothing. I promise you that. I was going to be quiet, but I keep saying it on my timeline. And I want y'all to go ahead and listen for those of you who don't know, because I don't think y'all going to like what I got to say.
Went back online to get my official transcripts. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school.
You see, what's crazy to me is that everybody is going out of their way to question whether or not she had a doctorate. And I don't understand that, because you don't see nobody questioning Dr. Pepper. What's that about? Because that taste is very questionable, okay? Nobody with a doctorate will put that taste together like that. And don't even get me started on Dr. Seuss. None of us like green eggs and ham. Hell, the man in the story told him several times, I do not like green eggs and ham. And what was he doing? Pressing them out, trying to force him to like green eggs and ham. Why would a doctor do that? And I watch y'all every time stand 10 toes deep in them Doc Martens, okay? That's crazy about you, 10 toes deep in the Doc Martens and ain't got no questions? Okay. And it's crazy because, to be honest, I wasn't even going to bring this up. But don't even get me started on Dr. McStuffins. All I'm saying is, I was a co-pilot for Spirit right before they shut down. Nobody can find my paperwork either.
Cheyenne Bryant, never been a doctor. Let's talk about it. What she's doing is equivalent to stolen valor in the military, and that is considered highly illegal. And I think at this point, people who pose as professionals with licenses and the education background that they can't back up, and people, profit off of that, like they give services like life coaching, court strategics, medical advice, like if they're doing that on the internet, I feel like that should be a crime at this point, a very serious crime, because the amount of misinformation that these people are pushing, and the fact that there's people that really follow their word as law is wild to me. You have people on here posing as legal professionals, not even here, on all platforms, posing as legal professionals, medical professionals, mental health professionals, and they don't have the education to back it up. And what they'll tell you is like, oh, I have the life experience. Life experience doesn't mean shit if you don't have the education or the licensure to do what you're doing. Okay? There's a reason why these people go to school for years and they take certain tests to get the licensing or the degree or the title, doctor, to do what they do. Like, and it's the fact that people just listen to these people. These people are up on this app, other apps peddling their bullshit, and people listen to it. It's dangerous. It's a very dangerous, slippery slope. And the fact that this woman is literally being an imposter so bad that she's saying she has 2 to 3 doctorates, that means you wrote 3 different dissertations and you can't account for those. You can't account for those degrees. And you're sitting here, got doc on your neck. You got the doc chain said everything to me. You got doc on your neck, yet you're not a doctor. There's no way that she cannot provide proof of her degree. There's no way. And when she said she didn't know, she doesn't remember her dissertations. I wrote a thesis for my bachelor's in college, and I remember exactly what it was on. Exactly. My thesis was essentially, basically, the recidivism and rehabilitation rates for children that were tried and housed as adults in prison, and how it affected them in society, and whether they recidivized or they were able to rehabilitate. I remember. I graduated in 2016. And that was just a thesis. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting really tired, and it really bothers me when people sit on these apps on social media and they profit off of pretending to be professionals that they're not. And people sit here and they run with it, because honestly, the general public is not very smart. Like somebody has big words and they look nice and they're able to like present themselves, they're going to believe them, which is wild to me, because I need to see your paperwork. You're not going to give me any medical advice, any legal advice, any mental health advice unless I got that paperwork. And I know that you know what you're talking about. But there's a lot of people that will run with it, and that's what she's doing. And the fact that she's profiting is my problem too. That's my problem. You don't have your license, and you call it a life coach. And there's a lot of these life coach advocates that should not be in any space like that. So